I want there to be a trauma-conscious Christianity. So I was at trauma-conscious yoga teacher training, and I was talking to a fellow student, and religion came up, and she said, hey, yeah, I used to go to this church that's very popular in town, and they said, we're really welcoming, we're very inclusive. And so a bunch of her queer friends went with her, and they got involved, they enjoyed it, they got more and more into the church, and then over time found out they couldn't be in any leadership roles. So the church had rules saying, hey, no, you cannot be queer and do any sort of leadership here. Yeah, we'll welcome you as a regular attending person, and you could probably tithe and volunteer. We'll take your money, we'll take your time, but you can't have any sort of influence here. And I felt so saddened and frustrated by that. I thought, oh, I'll invite her and her friends to my church. I've been going there for about 20 years, on and off, but for a long time. And it feels inclusive. I know there's a lesbian couple that goes there. But then I realized I don't actually know for sure what the rules are. So I got my phone, texted my pastor, said, hey, this is what's up. What are our church's rules? And he said, they're similar. A person could be on the worship team, but couldn't be the worship team leader, but they can't be in a leadership position. And he's been talking about how the church is dying. I said, that feels like part of the reason why. And when I found that out, I felt heartbroken. Because here's this place I've been going for a very long time, and I really respect my pastor. For the most part, I very much appreciate his sermons because he doesn't do the thing where he goes on the different sides of all of the hot button topics, because he has people all over the place in his church. There's very conservative people, there's very liberal people, there's people in between. And he doesn't say, hey, this is what you should think about pro-choice or pro-life. This is what you should think about whatever candidate. This is how you should vote. These are the different hot button whatevers. He doesn't do that, which I really appreciate, but preaches on love and acceptance, generosity, community, and loving other people, not othering, not saying, oh, those Republicans over there, or those Democrats over there, or those people who do that. He says, don't other, knock it off. We're all one family. And not that long ago, he was saying, my job isn't to get you to be on my same theological page. It's not to be the doctrine of me, and I'm going to convince you to have that. My job is to get you to be closer to Jesus. And when he said that, I felt this relief wash over me, because a lot of times I don't feel like I belong in my church. I help admin a kink group. I write spicy books about religion and people dealing with religious trauma. And I am bisexual, and I am polyamorous. So there's all these things about me, and I don't think any of them are wrong. That's another thing. I feel like if I thought they were wrong and I was fighting to not do those things, it would make me more worthy. But because I blatantly do them without a care in the world, there's times I feel like I don't belong. That people would shun me if they knew who I really was. But when he said that, I was like, because I feel like I'm a very spiritual person, that I'm very close to God. And every day it's being in prayer and hanging out with the Creator. And I think that's the biggest thing. I was reading a book a bit ago. Of course I forget what it was called, but a creator on here. Oh, it's going to bother me. Why can't I remember her name? But she was talking about a lot of that. She runs God is Gray, or ran it, I think now it's branching out. But how religion shouldn't be cut and dry. That it's not, here are the rules and these are the things you must follow. But that's what so many people in Christianity seem to be doing. And people are leaving in droves. And I feel like that's why. It's because people are taking a very giant, very ancient, very ambiguous book and saying, these are the things that matter. And cherry picking. Because it's such a weird book. I haven't finished it. It's my goal to read the entire thing. But holy hell, like, that felt like a oxymoron. It's fucked up. But it frustrates me that people pull weird things out of it like that. And coming back to what I was talking about, this one lady, she's talking about sexuality, and there's one church that was very open about it and not setting these hard and fast rules. And they said there's 3 things to base everything off of: love God, love neighbor, love self. That's what it should be. That should be the pinnacle of it. And I feel like that's true. And yeah, you can delve into the Bible and maybe find what resonates with you. And there's all the stuff that's cultural or doesn't really make sense today. But we'll say, oh, we better do it that way. And we're trying to shove people into boxes, or they're trying to, rather, and saying, hey, you can't be queer, you can't be non-binary, you can't express yourself in this way, you can't have your sexuality look anything other than very, very, very straight, cis, married, in this tiny little container of sexuality is only okay in this very specific way. And the thing that frustrates me is because you can look at this ancient, ambiguous book and refute a lot of the things that people point to when they say, hey, being queer is wrong. Like Leviticus, that was for the Levitical priests of the day. That wasn't for everybody. And then a lot of it was cultural, it was very patriarchal. And so to use another man as you would use a woman was seen as horrible, which is gross. And then a lot of it was, hey, don't be an adult dude doing things to a young temple boy. And I feel like if there's any ambiguity, if there is any sort of, well, is this really what this means? Throw it out. Don't go to that and say, yep, we're going to hang our hat on this and make an entire population wrong. We're going to say all these people are sinners. Because there's so much more in the Bible than that. Why is that the thing? And I think it's the thing because you are queer or you're not. It's a very black and white thing where you can point at someone and be like, are you queer? You are? Okay, bye. We don't want you. Give us money, volunteer your time, but they're not going to have any influence. But there's the other things that I think are actual sins where you're hurting other people or you're hurting yourself. Maybe you have a really huge lust for power or success or lust over other people that's going to hurt others or your own heart. But where do you draw the line on that one? Where is that tipping point between, you're okay, and you're not fit to lead? Or greed. Everyone's going to be greedy a little bit. Where do you draw that line? And so those things are harder to figure out. And there's so many things that people can hide too. That's the thing that bothers me, of thinking people who are in leadership roles that hide whatever sins that they have. But maybe if someone's gay or queer, maybe they present a certain way. Because I could hide my queerness if I wanted to. I could bring a male partner. I could, I feel like I look queer, but I could look less queer if I wanted to. I could go in there. But like, oh, look at me and my male partner. Totally straight. It's fine. But that's gross. I shouldn't have to do that. And then I feel guilty because I could. I could look straight. But there's people who absolutely could not. And it would hurt their souls to try to present in a way that is different from who they are. And I think about one of my partners, my partner 5, used to be very well respected in the church, but was miserable. And now that he is who is a kind, very giving, very generous person, now people shun him. Now people look at him like, ugh, until they can school their expressions and be like, oh no, it's fine. Hi, okay, I'm going to run away now because I don't want your dirty sinfulness to get on me. So there's so much frustration in that. And I feel like a lot of it comes down to power. That certain people say, oh, we know what the Bible says. We know what you're supposed to do and who is okay and who is not okay, who is worthy to be part of leadership and who is not. We know. You just ignore. Because I feel like we all have our highest self, our capital S self, that knows. And I feel like when we are in that, we are love and acceptance. We're giving, we're kind, we're about community. And that part of us might say, I am lovely just the way I am. I am lovely if I'm polyamorous. I'm lovely if I'm queer. I'm lovely if I'm non-binary. I'm lovely for whatever reason if I'm being true to myself and I'm not hurting myself or anyone else. But the church says, no, you don't get to trust your inner knowing. I've heard people making fun of others saying, I'm just living my truth. And I think there are a couple of different ways of living your truth, because there are people who are living their truth from their highest self. And there might be some people living their truth from ego, where ego says, I'm amazing, or I'm a pile of garbage. So yes, I feel like you could make the argument that if people are living their truth, that they're doing so in a way that's not great. But yeah, if it's coming from ego, I don't think that's wonderful. But I would love a religion that lets you go inward to your highest self and trust that, because I feel like God, goddess, goddess is in all of us. And when we are in this beautiful place, we get to connect with that, and we will know what is going to be the best for ourselves and the best for other people. And we don't need some person shoving some idea at us that doesn't fit with who we are and doesn't resonate, or says that we at our very core are wrong, that we're bad, that we are a sin. So I want trauma-conscious Christianity. Something that is kind, something that's an invitation. Sermons that say, hey, everything I'm going to share, this comes from hopefully my highest self. This comes from my connection with the Creator. And if it resonates, awesome. If it doesn't, I want you to connect with your highest self, with the Creator inside of you, and do what serves your highest good, as long as it's good for you and it's good for other people. But I am done with this shit that hurts people, that harms them, that gets into their psyche and their souls and makes them doubt who they are and makes them feel like they are wrong. Because that's fucked up. That is not okay. I don't feel like that is from a loving God. Because I grew up thinking God was angry and mean and judgmental and sitting there looking down at me and being like, you, Kira, you're a pile of shit. You just need to try harder. And I would try and try and try, and I would fail every time. But it wasn't actually failing. And it wasn't until I started to deconstruct a little bit and reconstruct and realize, hey, I don't want to leave God behind, because that's what so many people do. And if they do, fine. But if people still want God, I want them to be able to have that in a way that is really good for them and good for other people. This stuff, it gets me fired up. And I want to find a way to help people that do want to keep God in their lives, but still feel like a worthwhile person. Because anything that makes someone feel wrong for who they are, not okay. Not today, Satan. Not today. Not today. So, yeah, that's my fieriness for the day. Okay, bye.